Okay, this is going to be a video on how to graph radicals. We've already graphed square roots, but we're going to do square roots and cube roots. Okay, so the first thing that I want to do, since it is a square root, okay, normally I use these values, right? We talked about this back in the first unit. If I take the square root of a negative, that's not going to be anything good. Same thing here. Square root of 0 is 0. Square root of 1 is 1. Now 2 is not good. 3 is not good, but 4 would be good because square root of 4 would be 2. Now, if I solve the inside, second step, solve the inside. So if I solve x plus 4 equaling 0, that'd be x equals negative 4. So I replace the 0 with a negative 4. I find the interval, the number inside attached to x. So that's 1 divided by 1, which is 1. So this would be negative 3. This would be negative 2, negative 1, 0. Okay? Now I want to change the y values. Since I have this negative out here and this minus 6, I'm going to multiply by negative 1 and then subtract 6. Negative 1 times 0 is 0, minus 6 would be negative 6. That would be negative 1, minus 6 would be negative 7. Times this would be negative 2, minus 6 would be negative 8. So now I plot those points. Negative 4 over, negative 6 down. Negative 3 over, negative 7 down. And then 0 over, negative 8 down. And this is what the graph looks like. It always goes from that starting point. Okay? Now, what is my domain? Well, let's label this. Okay? This is negative 4, negative 6. Okay? This is infinity, negative infinity. So my smallest x value here is negative 4. The biggest is infinity. The smallest y value is negative infinity. The biggest is negative 6. Okay, now the transformations. What is happening to my graph? Pretty simple. I go left 4, down 6. Okay, so that you sort of describe what's happening here. Okay, and then you look at, do I have anything else? And because I have that negative, that's a reflection. Okay, all right, and that's that one. Okay, all right. Now this one, cube root. Okay. All right, now when I look at cube root, okay, this is a little bit different, okay? All right, I've got negative 2, negative 1, 0, 1, and 2, okay? Now, if I put that into the cube root, all right, I'll get to these in a second, but I can have a negative cube root. Cube root of negative 1 is negative 1. Cube root of 0 is 0. Cube root of 1 is 1. Now, these values, if you think about it, the cube root of this isn't good, but the next one, the cube root of 8 would be 2. And the same thing here. This would be negative 8. Okay? All right, so we're going to use that, and that's going to be negative 2. That's going to be my starting values. Okay? All right, now once again, solve the inside. That'd be 2. My interval, 1 would just be 1, so this would be 3. Okay, all right, and then so we sort of got to look at this. You know, normally it'd be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So think about how this has changed. This has changed by 2, right? So this would be 10. Okay, and then go the other way. This would be 1. Okay, and this would be negative 10. All right. What else is going to happen? No, check that. Sorry. Hold on. That's not right. Okay. So from here, that'd be 1. Yeah, and then here, this would be negative 6. Because basically what's happening is I'm adding 2 to the interval. So that would be negative 6. Okay. What's going to happen with my y value? Subtraction of 3. So that's negative 5. Negative 4, 0, I'm sorry, negative 3, negative 2, and negative 1. So at negative 6 over, negative 5 down, at 1 over, negative 4 down, at 2 over, negative 3 down, at 3 over, negative 2 down, and at 10 over, negative 1 down. So here is what this looks like. Okay. Now, what I have to do for that Okay, that's infinity, infinity. This is negative infinity, negative infinity. So what's my domain? Smallest x value, negative infinity, biggest is positive. Same thing with the range. Okay, what are my transformations? All right, 2 right, 3 down. Okay, very simply. Okay, all right, and in class I'll do a parent graph explanation of that one. Okay, so let's go ahead and take a look at this one. All right. All right, I'm going to use -8. I'm going to use -1, 0, 1, and 8. So this is the cube root. Okay? So that's going to be -2. It's going to be -1, 0, 1, 2. Okay? All right, if I solve the inside, all right, that's just going to be 0. My interval is still 0. What I'm going to do is I'm going to multiply by -3, and I'm going to add 4. So that's -3 times that would be 6, plus that would be 10. Times -1 times -3 would be 3, plus 4 would be 7. Times -3 would be 0, that would be 4. That'd be -3 plus 4, which would be 1. And that'd be -6 plus 4 would be -2. Okay, so I want to graph that. -8 over, 10 up. -1 over, 7 up. 0 over 4, 1 over 1, okay, and then 8 over -2 down. This is what this looks like. All right, so I label this is infinity, negative infinity. This is negative infinity, positive. So the domain's easy. Negative infinity to positive infinity. Range negative infinity to positive infinity. Okay, what are the transformations? Basically 4 up. Okay, I've got a stretch of 3. Okay, and then I have a reflection. Okay, this is a vertical stretch because it affects the y values. Okay. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at this one. Okay, now this is a square root. Okay, so the values I'm going to use are 0, 1, and 4. Okay, I'm going to solve the inside. That's 2x plus 6 equaling 0. That's 2x equals -6. That's x equaling -3. So I'm going to replace the 0 with a -3. Okay, all right, and then my interval, that's going to be 1 divided by 2, okay, which would be a half. Okay, all right, so this would be -2.5. Okay, all right, and then I would normally, I might need to just do this as a simple, all right. So this is going to go -2.5. This would be -2. This would be -1.5. This would be -1. Okay, all right. So I'm moving in increments of a half. All right. So then I want to, this should have been 0, 1, and 2. Okay, I want to multiply by half and subtract 4. So that's going to be 0 would be -4. That'd be 1/2 minus 4 would be -3.5. Half would be 1 minus that would be -3. Okay, so what I got is -3 over, -4 down, -2.5 over, -3.5 down. Okay, and then -1 over, -3 down. So that's what that looks like. Okay, all right, so I got -3, -4. This will be infinity, infinity. So my domain is -3 to infinity. My range is -4 to infinity. Okay? And my transformations, all right, what's taking place here? All right, I'm going to go left 3, down 4. Okay, I've got a vertical stretch of 1/2. And I have a horizontal stretch also of 1/2. Okay, because my interval, all right, actually, no, we'll do this instead. Instead of saying it like that, horizontal compression of 2 is fine. Let's not get confused with that. Okay? Let's do one more. Okay? So what I want to do here, all right, I'm going to normally use -8, -2, -1, -1, 0, 0, 1, 1, 2, 8. Okay? So if I go to solve the inside, that's going to be 2x equals 8, x equals 4. Okay? Oops, sorry, this is not right. Okay, so then what I want to do, okay, is I got to have my interval 1 divided by 2 would be 1/2. So this would be 4.5. And so now I got to look at this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, that's going to be, so this is now 4.5, and I'm going in increments of 1/2. So 5, 5.5, 6, 6.5, 7, 7.5. 4.5, 5, 5.5, 6, 6.5, 7, 7.5, 8. Sort of interesting why that did that. Nope, that's not right. Hold on, sorry. Okay, so this is 0 is 4, okay? All right, going to 1 would be 4.5, okay? Going to 2, get confused here for a second. 2 would be 5. Okay, 3 would be 6. No, it would be 5.5, sorry. 4 would be 6. Okay, yes, that's correct. 5 would be 6.5. 6 would be 7. 7 would be 7.5. 8 would actually be 8. Okay, it's interesting. All right. So that's why it sort of caught me, because it's sort of, all right, now going the other way, all right, 0 is 4, then -1 would be 3.5, -2 would be 3, -1 would be 2.5, sorry, -3 would be 2.5, -4 would be 2, -5 would be 1.5, -6 would be 1, -7 would be 0.5, and -8 would be 0. So this is going to be 0, and this is going to be 3.5. Okay, sorry, that took a little bit. Let's cross out to make that an 8. All right, a little confusing there. All right, so I'm going to add 3. It's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay, all right. All right, so it's 0 over, 1 up. All right, 3.5 over, 1, 2, 3.5, 2 up. 4 over, 3 up. 4.5 over, 4 up. 8 over, 5 up. This is what this looks like. Okay, label those. Negative infinity, negative infinity. Positive, positive. Okay, so our domain is negative infinity, positive infinity, and so is the range. All right, what is happening here? We go 4 right, 3 up. Okay, we have a horizontal compression of 2. Okay? And I think what I want you guys to do is go ahead and try those graphs on your own, okay? And that is it for the graphing part of this.